What's up? What's up? What's up? This is Krabby Dale, day one keto diet Dale. New year, new me. I hate life. Give me carbs. I want sugar, but I still got my diet Mountain Dew. And the thing is, too, I know a lot of you folks are thinking, "Oh, Dale, how's he gonna drink his Bush Light on his crypto diet?" Or Jesus, crypto diet. See, I'm not even thinking straight.
You're not in ketosis.
Yeah. Not in ketosis yet. I'm still in fat mode.
Just carb deprived.
Carb deprived. But I drank enough Bush Light on New Year's Eve that I probably feel like I'm pretty good for a good another month or two. But what's up? Thanks for joining in. Crypto Street Podcast. Got a really good guest tonight. We're pumped to have him on, but we'll get with him pretty quick. As always, joined with my fellow D-Gens, Prince.
Hey, man.
Hey, man. So,
just living the dream. Living the dream.
what do you know? Standard Prince response.
Yeah, I don't know.
dream.
Nothing. You ask me what's going on twice a week, and my life doesn't change all that frequently that much, right? It's just staring at a screen. So I don't know. Yeah, it's going. It's going. Nice weather out here, so I can't complain.
Yeah. It's changed a little because we're now.
I was over my
heroes,
shorts.
D-Gens.
Yeah. This is I'm hooked. Yeah. Living life on the 5-minute chart. It's ridiculous.
That's great. Killer, what's shaking, my man?
I have a question about New Year's that I'd like to pose to the floor.
Let's hear it.
So every so often on New Year's, you see on Twitter, Instagram, wherever, it's like Happy New Year in Paris. And it's just like thousands of fireworks in the air, like beautiful lights. And then you see one from like India. It's like equally impressive. See one from wherever. It's all like insane. Has anybody been to these places at New Year's? Do they actually look like this, or do they just put all the fireworks, they Photoshop them on at like the same time?
You want my take on this?
Wondering about this.
Out here, it gets pretty lit. Like, it's pretty wild, yeah.
My take is they just showed the 4th of July. Although, wait, that's not true because
In Paris.
Embarrassed.
Huge idiot.
Well, actually, I think like our July 1st, our Canada Day fireworks are probably better than our New Year's fireworks, I would say, at least from my experience.
I feel like where I'm at, there aren't really many fireworks for New Year's.
Not here
It's
either.
kinda like, yeah.
They go off because I was outside and I thought someone was firing a shotgun or something. I was like, what the hell is going on here? And it was only like 10 in the evening. So to me, it was a little early to be shooting those things off. And of course, I realized, okay, these are just fireworks. But
Yeah, I'm in North Florida, so I don't know what's gunshots and fireworks. So
either way, taking cover.
That's awesome. So we'll just, I guess I would say based off what I know, it's fake. Based off my area.
Let's go with that, because I've never seen fireworks like this on New Year's. I'm not sure they exist. Is what I'm. Tinfoil hat. I don't know. This is stupid, but
it's a good observation. I will say though, now that I think about it, I think I remember at like 12:15 hearing a firework, and I fucking perched up from my couch and said to my wife, "Who in God's green earth is lighting off fireworks?" But so
who in God's green earth?
We're learning a lot tonight, guys. This is great already. So we're joined with one of the mining experts, I would say, or extraordinaire. He's right up there with Not So Fast, in our opinion. Crypto Christopher Walken joining us tonight, coming live from North Florida, I think he said, right?
yeah, that's where I'm at.
So what's good, man? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's kind of funny because I know we talked about it a bit, but me coming on here has kind of made my whole crypto social media shit come full circle. So it's pretty cool to be on here. This is actually what kind of got me into social media of crypto. So yeah.
I love that.
I do too. It's so cool to hear that.
Yeah.
And
Like, I'm sorry for sucking you into, the cesspool of crypto Twitter, but I love hearing that, at least, we kind of had that impact in a sense. Hopefully it's not a negative impact in the long run, but, like...
Oh, that's great. So, first time on, and we're pumped to have you and really dive into some mining talk, but how we kind of start out with everyone's first time on. Let's give a background a little bit to everyone listening on your background, how you got into crypto, what kind of intrigues you about mining, and was mining a factor of what kind of got you into crypto? Just kind of go on from there, I guess.
Yeah, so first off, I'm a total computer nerd. Like, I built my first computer back in like 97. I was like 12 years old. So big computer gamer, all that. So mining kind of fell into place. I first heard about Bitcoin back in like 2010. I'm still active duty Navy, and a buddy of mine that was on the boat with me, he was mining it, and he's actually super rich now and long out of the Navy. But he started mining in 2010, told me about it. I thought it was total bullshit. It just was magic internet money. Couldn't do anything with it at the time, so whatever. But 2011, he started talking to me about it again, and I decided to just started mining Bitcoin, like in between when I wasn't playing video games. I had like this little 2-card rig that I was using back then. It was just my gaming computer, but it was still pulling like 1 or 2 a day, which was nuts. So fast forward a little bit, 2012, I was huge into Diablo 3, and I found out that they had these like Chinese servers, and you could sell like armor pieces and freaking gold and stuff like that for Bitcoin, and vice versa.
Nice.
You could like sell the weapons and stuff for Bitcoin. So I started doing that, and I was making money off of that, and then I started dumping that into more mining rigs. So I kind of just kept going from there. Not really social media stuff at all yet. And plus back then there wasn't much for mining. I mean, you kind of had Reddit, you had the Bitcoin Talk forums, which was really the main hub back then. And it still is. We can talk about that later for spec mining and stuff, but it's kind of all we had back then. And then I just kept mining. I was building my empire a little bit. And then 2014, by then I'd spent most of the Bitcoin I had just on stupid shit. Because I mean, back then we really didn't think it was going anywhere like it is now. And then the little bit that I had left, I had on Gox, and that got taken away. So I ended up getting out for a while. So 2016 rolled around, and my same buddy, he started talking to me about Ethereum, and I didn't want to do it because I got so fucking wrecked by Bitcoin. But I kind of decided to do the same thing again when I wasn't gaming. I was mining it. And then Ethereum started taking off, and I was basically like, holy shit. So I started building more mining rigs, mining Ethereum. And then around, it was probably like May or June of last year when it like had its first pump to like $300. I sold off most of it thinking like that was it, which we know it wasn't. But in hindsight, I built all my mining rigs off of that, and I like cleared out most of my debt. So at least I had that. But after that, basically all the madness started. I kind of started diving into more like YouTube and stuff like that just to see what people were doing. And then that's actually how I stumbled across you guys. I had no idea about crypto Twitter and none of that shit. I didn't do the social media stuff. So I found you guys. I made my own account like in January. It was just a lame account. It was me, my name. But I started like following you guys and a couple of the people that were on your show. And then from there, it just started taking off. I jumped into the aquarium. I made my first persona, which people might not know was Crypto Kenny Powers.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember that. Yes.
Yeah. I jumped in the baby pod with that. I was in baby pod as him, and then in the aquarium. And
That's
then
awesome.
I got freaking lit up on Twitter in May during the banning because I thought I was an ETH bot because I only had like 500 followers. So I almost didn't even come back to Twitter. Like that's when I started diving into Telegram. I started my group, and then I decided to say screw it, and I came back, and that's when I came up with the whole crypto Christopher Walken thing. And from there, it's just been crazy between Well Reports, Honeyminer, like my Telegram group. It's madness now. So yeah, that's me. Shit.
Well, I got to give you kudos, Walken, because you've made a real name for yourself, and you've done it the right way. I always hear people talking about how much you've helped them with mining. So, this community needs more people like you, in my opinion. So kudos to you.
Appreciate that. Yeah, it's been the biggest thing, and I think that's what's built most of my following. And like my Telegram group's at almost 1,400 people now. So
damn.
Yeah. So because what was funny was like I basically corrupted people because I'm the community manager for Honeyminer, right? You had all
Okay,
these
yeah.
guys that started coming in, they have their laptop, they want to use Honeyminer. And then I've got a couple that they start off with like one GPU, and then they saw what I was doing, and now they have like two 12-card rigs. So
Nice.
Nice. How many, you speak of rigs, how many rigs, in your opinion, this could be a dumb question, do you feel is like that perfect number for someone that's not real serious into mining, but maybe wants to dabble into mining?
I mean, one will get you going pretty good if you want to just be a spec miner, but a lot of it has to do with what your house can hold if you're just doing it in your house. Because most of these rigs, like a 12-card rig, will pop a 15-amp breaker. So like a lot of times you have to run extension cords and like have them go into other rooms and stuff like that. But I think most home miners have like 3 or 4. So,
Sure.
I mean, and that's still a decent investment, which right now it's a lot less than like back in January when people paid like 5 times as much.
Oh, it's crazy. I
That is
remember
crazy.
because like on the topic of people paying that much, like back in January and all that, like I was able to, because like that's how I got mainly into crypto. It was just like one a little couple mining rigs, and it was just a side thing. And then we ended up selling the rigs at like full value after half a year of use or so.
Yeah, I kind of did the same thing.
Yeah, I was surprised when it happened. I was like, no way, like they're actually willing to pay that. Just put the price up, like who cares? Let's see. And then there was bites. I was like, wow, okay. Like,
Yeah, I basically have like twice the amount of GPUs I had back in January because I had like 60, and then in January, February, these cards were going for like 3 times the price I bought them at. So I sold like half of them. And then slowly during this whole downtrend, I've just been buying them back. And now like 580s, which is my favorite card, you can get for like $100 on eBay, which is nuts.
whew, that is nuts. Yeah. Holy, like it's funny because like, people don't think about the market of trading GPUs in a sense, but and it's another market. Like you can, it's like when you're able to sell, GPUs at full value, and some people are even selling them more value than they'd paid, and being extremely used, like that's insane to me. Like it's
You said you were pretty tech savvy, even like building your own computers from 12 years old. Did you have any learning curve getting into mining, or was it all pretty intuitive to you from the start?
In the beginning, it was rough. Luckily, I had my friend that kind of helped me out, but like setting up miners back then was terrible because I mean we didn't have the resources. We would have like a couple of forums and stuff that we could go into and look at, but trying to actually get your rigs mining and stable was hell a lot of times back then because there was only like 2 different miners, and I mean yeah, it was a lot more difficult than now. I mean now everybody's like on Hive, which I always push out Hive, which those dudes should start like paying me, but anyway, like everyone uses Hive now, but it's so easy because now all you got to do is like pick a coin, pick a pool, put your wallet in, go. Like that's it.
oh, okay.
And
Can you explain a little bit about what Hive is for anybody who doesn't know?
Yeah, so Hive OS it's a Linux based mining software. It's built on Ubuntu, and basically all you have to do is flash a thumb drive and plug it in your computer, and then everything's controlled from their website. So like all you have to do is like look on your computer and put in your rig ID, and then everything else is done on their website. You can do all the overclocking, choose your coin, choose your wallet address, all that stuff. Like it's the most simple setup that you can do. And I try to push it to people because everyone's afraid to go to Linux. They think Linux is like, oh, I'm gonna have to do 100 lines of command line and shit to get this going, and it's not true at all. It's an entire GUI. So
Yeah, that was my impression of Linux until like 2 years ago, probably. So that's like totally understandable in my opinion. Maybe I'm an idiot, but I think just mining in general has this big like scary thing to people because there's hardware involved, there's command line interface use involved, which is just, I mean, those 2 things alone, it's like not very user friendly. But I think Honeyminer, for example, is like something that's really aiming to make that a better experience, more user friendly, more widespread. Talk a little bit perhaps about your experience working with them, and maybe what you learned from that.
Oh, that to me, like the biggest thing for me was like I didn't realize how low the level of knowledge on mining was until I ran that Telegram group. Because like most of my circle was all people that have already been mining for a while. So, and the coolest thing too is like, it's been very community driven. Like people always want to help out with the new guys, but just the excitement that I see from people that just they're on their laptop and they might not be making much, but they're mining. That's like the coolest thing. And it really does become like a gateway because these guys use Honeyminer for like a month and then they're like, all right, I want to build a mining rig now. I want to do this. I want to get more, you know?
Yeah.
So it's been really cool. And then a lot of aspects too of like, you know, helping out people in third world countries, stuff like that. Like that's big for them because they don't make a lot of money. So them making like 10 cents a day on a laptop is huge for them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think you know, and just in terms of decentralization too, even you know, every little bit helps in terms of spreading out the hashing power. I was reading something on CoinDesk today about the importance of remaining decentralized and some of the lessons we've learned from 2018 with you know the Bitcoin wars and the Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Cash ABC and all that nonsense. Yeah. So one thing I've been wondering is like when you first started mining, I'm sure it was very much like you mine Bitcoin or you don't really mine anything. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but how was your process of like choosing what to mine evolved over time?
Yeah. So in the beginning, yeah, it really was just Bitcoin, and then you had Litecoin, and then there was Dogecoin, and then it started making all these other just crap forks like Purecoin and like Feathercoin and just all this crap. So, and then, I mean, back then, basically, it was just like, well, this is probably just going to pump. So I'm just going to mine it and then wait for somebody to buy a bunch of it and sell it off. Right. But I mean, it's changed a lot. And especially now with how bad the market is, like you've really got to be selective of what you mine. You can't just mine random shit because you're paying electricity. Most of us are either mining at break even or at a loss right now. So unless you have dirt cheap electricity. So basically, or go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So it pretty much just kind of going off on that is like, how does somebody who's mining, you know, really kind of surf the bear market? Because, yeah, it's like it's something we've seen a lot of recently is, you know, big mining farms going bankrupt and, you know, just shutting right down. Yeah. How do you deal with that in this environment?
Yeah. So it's kind of twofold. So it's a lot easier for home miners to keep going in the bear market than it is for the industrial guys because industrial guys, they've got overhead, they've got employees, they've got to maintain, they've got whatever rent on their building, all that stuff. They got a lot more than us that has like 4 rigs. So that's the big thing on them. And then looking at it too, because I know during the hash rate drop, it was something like 1.3 million ASICs were shut down.
Right.
So looking at a lot of them, it was mostly people that bought near the top. Right. Because it was the same for mining. Right. Everybody bought Bitcoin at the top, but everybody started buying all this mining equipment at the top, too. When, you know, an A9 or a S9i was like $2,500. They're like $200 now if on the used market for the ASICs. So they're completely wrecked.
Yeah.
But sorry, I kind of went off on that one. But anyways, I jumped around a lot with mining. There's so much. But no, so for the GPU guys, I mean, there's a lot of different profit calculators and there's a lot of ways to do it. So you can either just kind of go off of what's the most profitable, right? Try to get either break even or at above. If, say, you're full-time crypto and you don't have outside income, so you can't just pay electricity. But on the flip side, like if you can afford to kind of pay a little bit of electricity, you can kind of jump into these spec coins because the biggest thing right now in this bear market is that most of your miners are shut down. And that's completely lowered the difficulty. And right now is you'll never see this amount of coins again from mining. Like in my opinion, especially once the market turns around, like the difficulty is going to go back up, the hash rate is going to go back up. So you're not going to be able to get the same amount right now. So mining right now in the bloodshed, you're going to have more coins. So when the market does come back, it's going to be tenfold.
And now you bounce around. You're a spec miner, right? In a sense.
Yes, I am.
And now, you know, when you're making a decision on what to mine, what is, you know, your average duration of, say, mining for a spec play? Like, is there a certain period where you're like, okay, that's as far as I am going to go, and then, you know, I'm going to find something else, or how do you go about that?
So it kind of depends. So there's certain coins to where if they're not getting a lot of traction, you can kind of stay on them for a while because the hash rate doesn't jump. But I'll just say, since everybody knows about it, Veil, right? Like everybody's on Veil, everybody's been talking about it. Like it's ridiculous right now, the hash rate on it. And I really don't know how much longer I'm going to stay on it, depending on how many miners keep joining, because the difficulty's rising and it's just going to become unprofitable.
Right.
So that's the biggest thing. And then, but at the same time, if you're on a coin that not many people know about, you can kind of just hang out on it for a while. And then once people start jumping on, that's when you jump off.
Okay.
Walken, how do you pick these spec mining plays? I mean, I know there's a lot out there that you can choose from. So what factors do you decide when picking one?
So I spent a lot of time in the Bitcoin Talk announcements. Like that's where everything gets announced, not just like proof of work coins, but airdrops, ICOs, crap like that. But I'll kind of go through there daily. There's also this bot on Twitter you can follow. It's the Ubic and bot, something like that. And I keep that thing on notifications, and every time a new one pops up, I'll just check it out. But basically, I look at it. I go a lot off of the Bitcoin Talk announcement, like the structure of it. If it's just something crappy that looks like some 12-year-old put together, I'm not going to touch it. But if the announcement actually has like the website, the team, if they're not anonymous, stuff like that, and then I'll kind of jump in their Discord, their Telegram, stuff like that. If there's a white paper, I'll look at that. But I also kind of judge off of sentiment. I also, another big thing I tell people, if you go on the Bitcoin Talk announcements, look for legendary posters on there, like Not So Fast or, guys like that. They'll post on there. That's probably one to look at. So, but there's a lot of it.
If you had to guess how many different coins you spec mined through, 2018, how many would you, rough estimate?
Jesus. I'd probably say like 30 or 40 easily.
There we go.
Not all of them
What
have
is
panned out.
I guess that's the thing,
would
right?
you say?
Oh, go
Like,
on.
what was your split? Would you say between like coins you like mine for an active profit right now and things where you're like, this is gonna be worthless right now, but I think it could make me a lot of money down the line? Like, what's the split between where you direct your hashing power or your hash power?
So right now I'm kind of 50-50. So like I have half my rigs pointing at like Veil, and then the other half I have split between other coins that are actually profitable, like Haven or Stellite, stuff like that, stuff that's actually profitable, so that I kind of at least say it break even.
Yeah.
What's that website you use to determine if figure out the profitability?
So the one that most know of is whattomine.com, but there's a couple other ones I like. There's a coincalculators.io. That's like one of the best ones, because that one will also, like, you can click on the coin and it'll actually it'll show you the hash rate, difficulty, how many miners are on the pools breakdown, everything like that. So that's a pretty cool tool to have for miners.
Cool. I knew the What to Mine one, but I hadn't heard of the coincalculator.io.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. There's one called Crypt Unit that's specifically for kryptonite coins, Coin Wars, crypto coins. Like there's a bunch of them. And it kind of
let's say
oh, sorry.
Go ahead, man.
I was say that it kind of sucks. There's still no one-stop shop yet for these things, because like what to mine. So the funny part is people always try to jump on coins before they're on what to mine, because what to mine's like where the normal miners go. So there's too much of a split still. So like I said, I jump between like 4 different calculators to look at profitability.
Interesting. Do you ever are you strictly like you're just mining with GPUs, or do you ever dabble with ASICs or?
No, I haven't jumped in ASICs yet. Like I'm hoping at some point I get the money together, because I kind of want to build my own like solar farm with all this crap, and then I might get ASICs. But my only fear with ASICs is just them becoming obsolete. Like that's always my biggest fear with those things, and it happens all the time.
I feel the flexibility with GPU rigs to me it's it's way better in a sense, right? Like you can bounce around. You're not stuck to one thing.
Yeah, exactly. And at this point, like, I mean, what's funny is like a year ago, like NVIDIA and AMD were completely split. Like there was only certain coins you can mine on NVIDIA and only certain coins you can mine on AMD. And now they're kind of cross, like, you know, NVIDIA cards can mine these other algorithms that might not be as good as AMD, but they can, and same for AMD. So it gives you more flexibility.
Mhm.
That's very fascinating to me. Do you have like any? We talked about this last episode, or I think it's the last episode. But the whole like drama with Bitmain and people are talking about like Jihan maybe stepping down. I feel like you might have a better perspective on this than most people.
I haven't looked super into their drama since the whole hash wars thing, but in my opinion, I think it would kind of be good for him too.
There's a lot of like, yeah, there's certainly a lot of like negativity just associated with the Bitcoin Cash fiasco and the big haircut they took on that and trying to make it a thing. But it's like fascinating though, you know, from like like I still don't mind. But like from an outsider's perspective to see these like wars of hash power going on, it's like it's kind of like drug cartels in a way. But
yeah, and I think most people want to see Bitmain fall anyway because it's a monopoly, right?
It really is. Yeah.
We're centralizing Bitcoin with their damn pools, so
Yeah.
they need to fall.
Yeah. I like this question here we got in the
Yeah.
chat box. So Aaron here says he has a few friends, PC gamers, that are getting interested in mining. Any recommendations on where to start?
Well, there's this great Telegram group called Proof of Walken that they can all join.
There we go. And now, how do they, if they want to join that, where do they got to go to
Why
find
don't, yeah,
that?
post that looking.
Yeah, I'll put it in there. Hopefully it'll let me do it.
There we go.
yeah, plug away.
Yeah.
Somebody's asking a Brenna Sparks question.
I was
Maybe we'll talk
just
about
gonna
that
talk
later.
about that too.
Yeah, I don't want to derail this good mining talk, but
Yeah, we can ignore that for now.
Yeah, that crap today. That was funny though.
When it comes down to like, you know, certain manufacturers, is there a specific one that you do prefer when it comes to building your rigs that you prefer to use?
So I've always been an AMD person, solely based on the price. Like, they're so much cheaper than NVIDIA, and like I would love to have NVIDIA because most of the time NVIDIA is much better on spec coins, but I don't feel like paying twice the price.
Yeah.
And even right now, it's like triple because, like I said earlier, you can get a 580 for like $100, but a 1080 Ti is still going for like $600 or $700. So,
something I like to ask, like the really mining, or the people who are very knowledgeable about mining, is like, let's say somebody is brand new, like assume like they know how to operate like a Windows desktop and that's it, but they want to get into mining. Where would you point them, like a super beginner's guide, or would you have any personal advice in terms of like a couple of cards to start, the type of cards, maybe like how many cards to put in a rig? Because I think a lot of people like don't know the answer to any of this, and they're just like, it's too much, I'm scared, you know?
yeah. So I mean, we'll plug Honeyminer again, but they can start there. You can just jump on your laptop, or if you have a gaming computer, just to test it out, see what it does. Because I mean, at the same time, it's a great learning tool because you can see what your stock settings are, and then you can download like Afterburner, and you can start messing with overclocking. So then you're kind of teaching yourself how to overclock, the stress of the card, like how to get more hash rate, and then after that, I mean, you can start building. So I had this one rig that I made. It was an article on Well Reports, but it was like shit. Now you could probably get it for like $400, but back then it was like $550. But I mean, $400, you can probably get a 1 or 2 GPU rig and just get going. And then, like I tell everyone, just kind of leave room for expansion because you're gonna expand. No one stays at 2 GPUs ever. But I would at least I'd get a motherboard that supports at least 6 cards and a 1,000-watt power supply. And God, there's so much to it. Like, basically, you don't need a bunch of RAM, right? Like 4 gigs is really all you need. Don't get an expensive CPU. I see people always trying to buy like i5s and i7s. Like, all my rigs have Celeron processors. You don't need a big processor for a mining rig. You don't need the most expensive RAM. None of that stuff. It's really all about the GPUs. You just need enough power and stable power for the GPUs.
And now I already have my opinion on this, but I want to hear yours. I feel it'd be fairly similar. people who are new to mining, a lot of times they'll kind of turn to cloud mining contracts.
Ugh.
There you go. Yeah. So, let's,
It is the same
for
view as
people, yeah, for
Guilty.
people who don't know anything about it, maybe share your opinion on that.
All right, so there's a difference between cloud mining and rig rentals, right? So, because I saw someone bring up in the chat the rig rentals, I'll get on that after this. But
Okay.
cloud mining is basically getting a contract with some manufacturer in the sky, I guess you can say, that has mining rigs, and it's for a set amount of time. And you can spend a certain amount of Bitcoin or whatever coin you pay for a certain amount of hash rate. My issue with these most of the time is that the contracts have a time limit, and for you to withdraw anything, it's always some absurd amount of money.
Right.
So it forces you to keep the shit on there. And that's why so many people have been exit scammed, because it's not the big people that get screwed because they can pull their money off because they put a bunch in. It's the little guys, because they'll end up putting in like, 0.05 BTC or something like that. But
Right.
you can't withdraw until you hit like 0.1 BTC, and they can exit scam you and your Bitcoin's gone. But my recommendation for people that, like, if you don't have a mining rig or don't want to do it and you want to jump on a spec coin, go on something like mining rig rentals or even Nice Hash, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but and you can rent a rig that's actually somebody's, and you input your wallet and all the coins go to your wallet, so there's no like holding period. That's like the only thing that I recommend for people.
I did that rental thing for a little bit, and then I actually like paid for the unit, and then they just kind of did maintenance on it. But then I kind of decided that, I wanted to do it on my own, so I got it sent to my house instead. So expect some questions from me, Walken.
Okay.
I mean, that's like the only way to actually learn is to like get your hands dirty and actually do it, because like you can read everything and, but you got to actually just do it. It's like a lot of things in life. I think the actual experience is huge.
Just do it.
It's funny because I've had, rigs, and I still don't really know anything about them because I wasn't really, doing any kind of the maintenance on them. I wasn't setting them up. All I was okay, well, here's some money, just build it. Keep the costs down, and just give me a bill, like just tell me what I need, and that was pretty much it. But yeah, so I still don't really know anything.
I think it gives you a perspective too. Like sorry,
it kind of a little bit. Yeah, it's I just remember there was certain moments, and for the mining that I did, it wasn't very serious, right? It wasn't, I had plans. I'll tell you that. Like I had plans. I wanted to make a big, mining farm, all of this, but then I just found, I don't know, doing the maintenance stuff and having to deal with people who are doing it. It kind of got old for me, and I just, for some reason, I just wasn't putting the time in to try and figure it out myself. So that's where it just kind of went to, I'll stick to just speculating on shit coins.
Yeah, that's like the biggest thing. And like, so a lot of the newer guys will get pissed off at me when they first join my group because they want to just get spoon fed, and I refuse to do that. Like my goal is to actually teach people how to mine, not just like do everything for them, and then they need to troubleshoot and they can't do anything. So, I mean, they get over it. But I mean, because now there's, and the funny part is like, I started my group in like June. I think it was only like 20 guys. And then half of them had never mined before. And like, I taught them and they learned. And now those guys are like all my admins. And now they're helping people learn. And then those people are helping people learn. So it's just circle of life, basically.
That's awesome. Yeah. How long has this group been together now?
I think I started my Telegram in June.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I like the name of it.
Yeah. Anybody who has any interest in mining, questions, get into that group.
Literally all you have, I just went and joined it. I just went in the Telegram and searched it and said, all I typed was Walken, Walken, and it was literally proof of Walken. And I joined, and right as you were saying you don't want to spoon feed people, I said, spoon feed me, Walken. Help me. Like my take on mining, I think it's great on the ecosystem and everything, and obviously we need it. Like, but what I want to do with mining is I want to find that, that coin that no one knows about, and I want to just mine the living shit out of it and hope it gets to like $1 someday, and then just boom, sell it. So
That's the dream.
and I know that's what everyone wants to do with mining.
That's
So that was really stupid.
I got a question for you, Walken, and now, like, I feel like a lot of people have different takes on this topic, and I'm kind of just sitting here on the side, just kind of observing it.
Just be good.
Yeah. Well, the whole topic of, how mining is so bad for the environment. And now I see a lot of people who will defend it and say that, it's not as bad as a lot of people want to make it out to be. And then I see some people just going at it for the jugular, right? And, it's ruining this world, all of this. What's your opinion on that?
So the biggest thing is most of these large farms are using renewable energy, like all of them, whether it be hydro, solar, whatever. Like that's the biggest thing. That's why I don't know. It's a topic that always makes me laugh when I see that on Twitter.
Yeah, it comes up a lot. And you see, there was a while where I was like, oh yeah, like I guess that really makes a lot of sense. And so I didn't have any clue about it, right? And this is the thing is I think most people who don't got a clue about mining are naturally going to lean that, oh, this is a terrible thing for, the planet. But, then you actually kind of, it's like, no, there's some actually other stuff going on behind the scenes that you might not realize.
Yeah, and I mean, in the beginning, it was a lot of just, I'm going to buy all these freaking ASICs and shove them in a warehouse and just go because nobody really cared about power and all that stuff. But then as Bitcoin's hash rate and difficulties gone up, and now you have to have thousands of ASICs, people had to move because, I mean, for one, it was getting too expensive, but there wasn't enough power in the power grid where they were. So,
yeah. And
now they're going to Canada and Switzerland and, well, there's people in Venezuela, even though it's illegal, but they're there.
Is it still worth it? Like if you're just like an average Joe who has average Joe electricity costs in his apartment or house or whatever, like is there a way to circumvent that where you can still be profitable if you do it well?
Find your neighbor's outlet.
Killers thinking about mining.
Just get the extension cord out and find your neighbor's outlet.
Depending on your setup right now, I think break even's around like 11 cents, 12 cents with this little tiny bump that we had. When it was at 3,200, it was terrible. It was like 7 cents or something like that per kilowatt hour, and everybody was dying. But I mean, the thing is like I said earlier, it's either at the point where if you already have the equipment and you can afford to pay a little electricity, keep it on because of the difficulty. And also for the people that want to start getting in, like now's the time because this is the cheapest the graphics cards have been in over a year because people are just dumping massively right now on eBay.
Yeah, I looked at it the other day and it was just wild.
Yeah, even like everything else, like the mining motherboards, you can find them for like $30-$40 now, and they were like $150 a while ago. So
wow. All right, Walken, I think that's kind of everything we wanted to touch base on with you. So do you have any final words? We're going to announce we ran a competition for the 2018 Crypto Street Podcast Guest of the Year. So we're going to announce that after this. We're not completely signing off yet, but do you have any final words you want to add?
No, like I said, just thanks for having me on. Like I said, it's just funny. It's funny to be on here. Since, like I said, it's
cool.
Got me here. But yeah,
Thank
I said, people that don't follow me on Twitter, Crypto Chris W. I'm pretty easy to find. But yeah, mind the dip.
Mind the dip.
Okay, so we ran a poll the other day. We ran it for about a week and a half on. We wanted people to vote for the 2018 Crypto Street Podcast Guest of the Year. We've got overwhelming number of votes. We're going to announce the top 5, and then the winner gets this. We're going to roll out a new shirt in our store. It's pretty funny. So they're going to get that shirt sent. Would you not agree, Prince?
It's a classic.
It's great. I have to give a shout out to Listen Destro, our guy that merchandise manager runs our store. He's pretty much I can send him. I send him a lot of ideas like at 6 a.m, and he usually has it to me by the time I'm at my office. So, anyways, here we go. Drum roll. There's a 3-way tie for 5th place between Bully, DJ Thistle, and Loops. And 4th place was Crypto Randy Marsh. 3rd place was Big Beta. 2nd place was Messiah, Crypto Messiah. And in 1st place, winning, I think it was by 1 vote, 3 votes.
It was tight.
It was
close,
really tight.
yeah.
Came down to the end. Was none other than the man, the myth, Dumb.
Dumb.
So Dumb was voted
Shout out
as a
to him.
2018 Crypto Guest of the Year, and he's actually going to be on next week, I believe. So we're going to hoot and holler with him. So we'll get in touch with him. So thanks everyone for voting. Again, follow Walken if you can on Twitter. It's Crypto Chris W. Join his Telegram group.
Get
Proof of
knowledge.
Walken.
Yeah.
Get knowledge. No spoon feeding over there. Thanks for getting to Insight. Remember everyone to subscribe to our channels, YouTube, iTunes, all that fun stuff. Thanks for listening. Tip your waitress. Hootskis for the boys. Get wrecked. Just kidding. Later, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Later.